Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm back up here at the cabin and I'm about to hook up the water. It's got to go through the steps and get everything connected and then start pumping water up to the reservoir, and I thought I'd bring you guys along and show you where I get the water from and how I pipe it down into the cabin. Right now the cabin only has the shower hooked up to water and the bathroom sink to water. So that's all I can use in the cabin, but it's nice to have some running water in there. I'll take you up to the spring where I get the water from. I don't know if I've shown you guys the source of my water yet, but it's a bit of a walk just right up here, and it's a shallow spring, or it just seeps out of the ground, so I've done a little work to it to be able to pipe it down into our pond that I have the water running non-stop into the pond and filling it, so I'll show you where I tap into it. So here's, I don't know if you can see this white water line I have. That water line is running down to my pond. So I've just dammed up the spring a bit right here and created a little pool. So the water builds up in the pool and it just slowly runs down this water line out into the pond. I'll bring you up to the head of the spring is right up, about 30 feet up here where this big cottonwood tree is. And sorry, can't really see me. I had to suit up because the mosquitoes are extremely bad over here by the water. But here, I'll bring you up to the actual start of the spring. Alright, I'm standing up here where the spring originates. Eventually I will be putting making a head wall or dam up here and then piping it down to a spring box, and then running from the spring box to the cabin, reservoir, and then also the pond. So there's still plans to develop this, and I'm going to dig it out, line it with dig it out some more, line it with gravel, then I'm going to cover it, put the head wall in, and then pipe from the head wall down. But for now, I'm just letting the spring do the work. So it comes out right here. That's about a foot deep pool right there, and it's been running 24/7 just all year so far. Doesn't look the greatest right now because weeds and grass and algae is grown in around, but it is the water that I filter and drink. It's running down here. It's so overgrown because of the water, but it's running right down here, down to the dam that I made. There's the flowing water down into the pool I made. It's crystal clear down here. So what I do is I fill this metal tank that I have up here. I fill it with the spring, and then I pump from this tank up to my reservoir that's right up here. So I'm gonna disconnect this water line that I have running here and direct it into this tank. So I gotta start filling this first. So I've disconnected the pond now from the water, so temporarily I'm just going to be letting it run into this tank until it's full, and then I'll start pumping. I don't worry about the little pine needles and leaves that are in this tank because I have a filter on my pump, so it doesn't pick up any of that when I start pumping it up into the water tank. Okay, it's been filling for about 45 minutes almost now. It's a little over half full, so I'm going to start pumping up to the water cistern up on the hill. So I'm trying out this new pump I just got. It is a cordless utility pump by Ryobi. Runs off Ryobi batteries. I've tried it so far just on watering the potatoes and it worked good. So I'm going to see if it has enough power to suck water from here and pump it up the hill. It's only maybe 60 feet to the water cistern, but it's uphill. It's probably got 15 feet to rise to it, so we'll see if this can handle it and how long the battery lasts. I've only ran it for about 5 minutes when I watered the potatoes, so this is the same battery. And this is the intake hose right here. On the end I have I'll show you, it's a filter that it came with, so I won't pick up any of the pine needles or scum that's in this. So I'm going to fire this up and see if it's going to pump the water up the hill. You have to prime it. I've already primed it. You fill the inlet with water to prime, so it should be ready just to hit the on button. Alright, I'm sure you can hear it running behind me. It's that's the one downside. It's kind of loud, but I don't need to have a generator running, so that's a bonus. And it's working. It's pumping all the way up to the cistern up by the solar panels. So I just gotta let it sit there and run. I'm flushing out the cistern right now, so the first probably 50 liters is just gonna be used to clean it out because I bleached the inside of it. I used the mop and bleached everything. So I'm just flushing it out now, and then I'm going to close the spout and fill the cistern, and while it's filling I'll connect up to the cabin. So now I just got to monitor this metal tank and make sure it doesn't go dry. It looks like the spring is running a little slower than what the pump is moving, so I'll probably have to shut it down in a bit. If anyone's interested in this Ryobi utility pump, so far it looks like it's going to be amazing for off-grid purposes. I will put a link to it in the description. I want to bring you guys up here through the jungle up to the water tank that I gravity feed from. Sorry, the sun's directly in front of me here. So this is nestled up here in the bushes. It's slightly above the roof of the cabin. So the height of it's probably 10 feet higher, maybe even more, maybe closer to 15 feet higher than my shower. So this gravity feeds directly from this water tank down to the cabin. So you know where I am. There's the cabin. The solar panels are over there. This is how I have it plumbed out of the tank. I'm running some PVC off of there, or ABS. off of there, have an elbow, drops it down to the ground, and then I have a 1-inch water line running from here. You can't see it, it's all underneath everything, but running from here down to the cabin at the back, and then I connect it up to the PEX plumbing of the cabin. Okay, I'm at the back of the cabin here. Now this is where I do my connection. The cabin's plumbed just like your normal house with PEX plumbing, and I have it ran out underneath the cabin here. And this is the 1-inch water line that I have running from the water tank. I put 1-inch threaded barb on the end of this, and then I have a 1-inch to 1/2-inch metal adapter right here. So now I just got to thread this fitting into the adapter and it's connected. Then I just have to purge the air when I open up the taps inside. This is all, until I have a permanent setup, this is how we're going to be connecting. I have to disconnect this every winter and drain everything, and then it's not usable during the winter. Once I open up the spout off the water tank, I'll have to check on this and make sure it's not leaking. But for now I have that closed off up at the tank until it's full. Then I'll open it. It'll pressurize the whole system, all running down this water line. It'll pressurize inside the cabin. Then I just have to go in and open the water taps and drain out the air, and then it's good to go. So I just gotta wait. It looks like it's about a quarter full, so I've got about 250 liters up there. I'm gonna wait until it's at the 1,000 liter before I open it up. So I got a little impatient and went ahead and opened up the water tank and connected it to the cabin. The tank's not quite full yet, it's about 2/3. So this won't be the full water pressure from the gravity fed, because when the tank is full, that's when you get the most pressure. This is only about 2/3 full. But I've got it connected down below. I've got, this is the hot water heater. I have the water shut off for it, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. This is where you stop and listen to see if you hear anything leaking. That's pressurized now. Now I've got to drain some air out of the lines. I forgot I got shut-offs at all these. So I've got water to the tap. Now for the shower. So there, the lines are all working. I'm not seeing any leaks anywhere. So now, just a couple things I'll explain. First of all, this is a propane hot water heater. So right now it's not connected to propane, but you attach it to a propane tank. A 20-pound barbecue tank will last you all year with it. And then it runs off of just your normal, I believe it's AA battery. It might be a 9-volt. Put a battery in it for the ignition, and then you set the heat you want it to be at. You set the amount of water you want it to pass through. So the reason I went with this one, it's a Camplux. I'll put a link in the description to the model. It was, I think, around $200 off Amazon. This is a low water pressure model. A lot of the models for residential houses, if you want a on-demand hot water heater that runs off propane, they need city water pressure. They need the minimum like 20 psi. So this one runs off low water pressure. I can't remember how low, but it's something. It'll be like 3 psi or something, really low water pressure. So even when our tank gets low and our water pressure drops, this still works and it will still open the valve and let water through. So that's one thing you have to make sure when you're buying a on-demand hot water heater, that it works. You have to check what psi or what water pressure you need to activate it. But this one has been awesome. It works fast. As soon as you open the hot water tap in the shower or even at the sink, you hear the ignition ignites and it fires up. A flame fires up in here. These lights start blinking to tell you it's on, and you just have instant hot water. And then you can set it like to max, and it's scalding hot. So I mean, I have it set down low because I don't need really hot water. And the propane tank, like I said, it'll last all season easy. And so now probably you guys are wondering, where does the water drain to? I have all my drains plumbed. They're 1.5 inch ABS, goes down to the 2-inch main line. But I will go show you now where the drain is going to. We haven't finished our permanent drain yet, but I'll show you temporarily where it's running. So this is where currently the water is all draining. Our main drain comes down, the kitchen sink and the bathroom sink and the shower all run down into our 2-inch main line. And then we temporarily have it running just straight out here with this 4-inch piece directing it, so it's running out onto the ground just right in front of me here. So that was just a temporary setup. We didn't want it running onto the ground underneath the cabin, obviously. So it's just, we have it shooting out. It runs down the hill behind the camera. Once we get it ready to put in our gray water system, we're going to be digging a gray water ourselves. We're going to trench the 2-inch line, trench it out from under the cabin, then trench it down to DIY gray water system. So that does it for our water system. The cabin is now hooked up and got running water in it. It's going to be nice to have showers again. If you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up, hit the like button, and click subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks, I'll see you on the next one.